Caleb Williams showed a lot of growth in the game against the Green Bay Packers, more so because the Bears actually played towards his strengths. And I think when we look at it as well, we got to acknowledge the fact that Caleb Williams has technically led 2 game-winning drives that because of coaching, the Chicago Bears could not win. We're going to talk about that, plus Matt Eberflus's comments on his decision and what he plans to do about the field goal and putting it in the NFL hands. All that plus a little bit of the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Terry Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And I want to start off with this one, man. There has been a lot made, justifiably so, in regards to Caleb Williams' game. Right. That was always going to be something that people judge with a fine tooth comb. And I think as well, when you look at it, the generational label that a lot of the pundits were giving, especially for Bears fans that don't really, unfortunately, do their own research or kind of know what is meant by the tag of generational. It set an expectation that I think some Bears fans came into the season having with Caleb Williams that he was never going to live up to, regardless of how he played or not. Now, Caleb Williams' play, specifically in the 3 games before the Green Bay Packers game and things like that, have also left a lot to be desired. When you look at Caleb Williams' game, he has some big mistakes that he's made, and the fact that he needs to work on that. But I think that overall, Caleb Williams has shown, and despite the Bajent baddies and the things that people that say things like that, overall, Caleb Williams has shown that he is the quarterback of the future for the Chicago Bears. There is no doubt about that. You look at the 2,000 yards he has passing with 7 games left on the season. Caleb Williams still has a chance, especially with how the offense was zipping the ball around, to break a lot of the Bears' rookie quarterback records. Now, that's not to say that it was not like we had the most established or the greatest records regardless, but Caleb Williams is there. You see the skill set there, right? Yes, he has things that he needs to work on, and unfortunately, if more people had actually listened to me coming into the season, where I told everybody to temper those expectations that Caleb Williams was not going to come in here and look generational from day one. He may not ever look generational, but that doesn't mean it's a large gap between being a good quarterback. You can even be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that about Caleb. We got a lot of development left to do before we can ever say that. And even generational, right? You can win a Super Bowl without being generational. You can win a lot of football games without being generational. Caleb Williams, 61% completion percentage, even with the ones that he's missed downfield, even with some of the sacks, the 41 sacks he's taken, some of those being on him and his decision-making. Caleb Williams has an 82 QB rating. The QBR, which is ESPN stat of 44, that takes into consideration some other things as well. But Caleb Williams he's having what is a solid rookie season, right? And that is one of the things that I did say coming into the season, like, Caleb Williams is going to have a rookie season. He wasn't going to come in here and avoid. And unfortunately, we have seen quarterbacks that have over the last few years, like Stroud and Jaden Daniels this year, who've come in and have not just been regular rookies, right? And so, of course, with the Bears getting the number 1 overall pick, there's an understanding and a desire to see Caleb Williams be one of those guys that could be that and have that type of season. Because listen, other guys have done it. Why not us? Why not with Caleb Williams? And unfortunately, this is still the Chicago Bears organization. It just is what it is. Right? I mean, let's just be honest about this. It is still the Chicago Bears organization. And again, that doesn't hold Caleb Williams from the things that he's fell short on. But Caleb Williams is the quarterback of the future for the Chicago Bears. No, Tyson Bagent is going to take over. No, they're not going to do that. Now, they did, reports came out that it was a conversation that was had briefly over maybe starting Bagent to get Caleb some rest for a couple of games. But this Bears team is committed to allowing Caleb Williams to go through this process that's needed to learn and grow on the fly to see what he can become with the Chicago Bears team. And as of right now, the pairing as well with Thomas Brown looks like it's going to be something to help get this Bears this Bears offense in a place where it needs to be, right? And if Caleb can have more games like he had on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers, this season is going to turn around considerably for Caleb Williams in his decision-making, in his skill set, and also his confidence, right? And that's what the rest of the season is really built around for Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown has a very simple job for the rest of the season. It's getting the confidence back of Caleb Williams. It's getting Caleb Williams in this offense of a place to where they're making some moves and looking something. It's really the sole focus of this rest of the season is the progression of Caleb Williams. That's it, right? No longer is it the making playoffs or contending for the playoffs necessarily. Everything about what Thomas Brown is doing with this offense is about getting through and helping the progression along with Caleb Williams. The first week of Thomas Brown, it was a really good step in the right direction and encouraging because of the incompetence that we've had here from Shane Waldron. When we look at Caleb Williams as well, he's saying all the right things. We actually got a quote from Caleb Williams where he said this.
You keep going. That's my mindset for just about anything. I called Lincoln Riley called me the other day and just wanted to talk to me, check in, and things like that. And it's something that he told me my freshman year when I wasn't in a position that I wanted to be in, which was wasn't starting at the time. He told me to keep going, and at that time I didn't necessarily know what those two words meant. I wanted more than that. I wanted to hear a little bit more than that, and that's all he told me. And I use those words, to this day. Once I, got the starting spot and I just kept working, kept going. That's all you can do. That's all we can do is keep going, keep our head down, and find ways to win. And so we're going to keep doing that.
Caleb Williams, it can be easily overlooked, the importance of having the right mindset still after adversity. And Caleb Williams does have that. And it seems to be more confidence overall from a lot of the Chicago Bears offensive players on the direction that this offense is going after last week against the Green Bay Packers. How successful and how many games the Bears are going to win, that's a story for another day. This is a gauntlet. I've been telling you guys it's a gauntlet for a while. That's the way I've been describing it because it is. This is a gauntlet that the Bears are going through between now and the end of the season, basically. And so this could be the best thing for the development. Like, regardless of the win and losses, right, you want to be out there competing. You want to be out there competing for the best. You want to do those type of things. And, the Bears are going to have to go through this adversity, go through these tough times to be in a position to just grow. And that's what the focus is. Now, it sucks, right? I'm not saying that we should all of a sudden have some moral victory over the fact that we're focused now on growth for a season that we were coming in hoping that wins were going to be more of the focus than just growth. No, that disappointment is loud. That disappointment is real. That disappointment is valid. The disappointment in some of Caleb Williams' play is valid as well. This is not the thing to say that anybody is wrong for how they felt about Caleb Williams or anything, or the doubt that they have around Caleb Williams. But the fact is, if you thought it was going to come in and it was going to be all smooth sailing when the Bears got their quarterback, you were setting yourself up for failure, right? Again, yes, we had expectations. And what was I saying coming into this year? Please go back and look at all of our preseason predictions where I said I have expectations for this Bears team to make the playoffs, but it's more because of the defense than Caleb Williams. It's more because of the talent than just saying because we got Caleb Williams, right? So now, and I get it, you're a quarterback in the NFL. Wins and losses, that's looked at as a QB stat. You're going to get an undue amount of the blame. You're going to do an unjust amount of the accolades as well and the acclaim when you have a winning team. It's just the way that it goes in football. That is part of the nature of this beast that is the game of football, right? But when it comes down to it, Caleb Williams is having still, despite all the turmoil, despite the up and downness, he's still having one of the better, probably still, and could very well turn into the best rookie seasons by a Bear quarterback. And it's come with its own disappointment. It's come with its own things that he could do right. But that was always going to be part of the story. I said coming into this season, the thing that was going to tell me the most about what I needed to know about Caleb Williams is the process that he goes through. How does he learn from the mistakes that he's going to make at some point in the season? And how does he turn that around by the end of the season? Like, how does he lead, right? Those are the type of things that I'm judging it by. It was never going to be that Caleb Williams came in here. The Bears aren't that lucky of a franchise. I'm telling y'all that right now, right? We're not that lucky of a franchise. We didn't have the basis or the coaching or anything. Now, that turns out I had more faith in Shane Waldron than clearly what I should have been. But you look at it as well as Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown was a finalist for the offensive coordinator position. And that shows that at least maybe they had some right mind about it. And a lot of people thought that the Bears were lucky to get Thomas Brown to come in and be the passing game coordinator because he is a guy that people thought could have gone on and gotten an offensive coordinator job at other places, right? So this pairing between Brown and Caleb, forever long it's going to be in place. Whether Thomas Brown ends up staying on as the offensive coordinator after hopefully we're talking about a Matt Eberflus firing, more on that in a second, or if it's just for the remainder of the next 7 games of this season, regardless of that, the relationship between Thomas Brown and Caleb Williams, how Thomas Brown helps reinstill the progression and the confidence in Caleb Williams, which it seems like the confidence is already back there, that's going to be the important part. But Caleb Williams, I think, again, and this is all fans do this in every sport, so this is not just a Bears fan thing. The expectations that we place on things that are kind of unjust, and then we take out those expectations and our disappointment out on the player when really, in having a more clear mind and a more objective view on it, listen, the problems were always going to be there, right? The problems were always going to be there. The potential was always there for greatness in this rookie year. Make no mistake about that as well. But since when has things ever gone right for the Chicago Bears initially, even if things end up going right in the long run, right? And that's still an if. Of course, we got to say and see how that's going to go. When, as a Chicago Bears fan, have things ever been easy for you? And, maybe that's a bit of a cop-out or whatever else, but, like, it just is. This is not – being a Chicago Bears fan has never been easy. Did you think it was going to be easy now? Did you think that it was? Are you? I get it, the hope for it, but did you really think? Did we really think it was going to be easy for the Chicago? It was just going to be that straight line forward for the Bears. It's never that simple for the Chicago Bears. That's part of ownership. That's part of the decision making up front. That's part of coaching. That's part of player execution. It's never been that straightforward. It just hasn't been, and I don't expect it to be now. But the signs are there, right? And we got to let this young man be who he's going to turn into being. We cannot pull the plug and do, like, people talk so much about changing the cycle. The cycle shouldn't be firing a coach that's wrong for your team. The cycle that we need to stop is let's stop ruining players. And I don't even just mean quarterbacks, right? Let's stop devaluing players. How good is David Montgomery looking elsewhere, right? How good is that how good is that doing, right? Let's stop devaluing players. And I don't mean from just a fan base standpoint. I mean from a front office and an ownership standpoint as well. Let's stop doing that. Rome wasn't built in a day. Success doesn't just happen overnight for most franchises. It damn sure ain't coming overnight for the Chicago Bears. But Caleb Williams is the guy. He's going to be the guy, right? And much like I get a lot of Bears fans now are at the point where everything that comes up, it's all about, oh my God, but Justin. Justin is gone. A lot of y'all still cry over your exes, don't y'all? Like, no amount of whining, complaining, or points that can be made are going to bring Justin Fields back to the Chicago, even if that's what you want, right? And that's not what everybody wants either. It's not. Improve this team. And Ryan Poles, you got to get to work because your head's about to roll too, right? That's what we need to see. At some point, until this team holds itself to a level of excellence in the higher-ups, in the front office, in the coaching staff. Yeah, the players can do what the players can do, but we got generational incompetence here too, just like we have with the Chicago Bulls. And right now, the general incompetence goes to Matt Eberflus, which, hey, listen, I said it before. Matt Eberflus, his inability to just say, hey, I made the wrong decision is crazy, right? The fact that he said that he's going to, once the league, they're going to, whatever, with the league to look at what happened on the field goal play, like, at the end of the day, like, and again, if you look at the letter of the law, right, which is players are not allowed to make contact with the long snapper until 1 second after the ball is snapped, right? When you look at the letter of the law, yes, there is something that could be said there. That is, when you look at the letter of the law. But when it comes down to it, most of the things that Matt Eberflus falls short on are self-afflicted. Week by week, every time Matt Eberflus talks in a press conference, it literally leads to more mind-blowing decisions on who the fuck is this guy and why the hell is he the coach of our football team. It just is. Just like, and don't get me wrong, like, one of the things that Matt Eberflus has done well, and I always said it, that he'd be a damn good defensive coordinator. But even then, when you look at, like, how the defense is failing at times now as well, like, can we still even say that anymore when it comes to Matt Eberflus? Matt Eberflus embarrasses himself. He embarrasses this team. He embarrasses everything every single day that he talks. The fact that he said he still stands by the decision, right? You're a quarterback in Caleb Williams that you're trying to instill some faith in, right? Some confidence in and get back to the progression. He led you on what should have been a game-winning drive. It was your decision, Matt Eberflus, right? Your decision, not run another play. It was your decision to settle for a 46-yard field goal. It was your decision. And to say this, yeah, the obvious risk are you false start, you go backwards. Look at all that run outside play, they call holding. You throw a pass, it gets tipped. Whatever it is, if you feel good about your decision there and the win conditions and what the conditions are at that point where you are in the field, then you feel good about it. You take it down and you kick it, and we felt good about it. Every time Matt Eberflus opens his goddamn mouth, every single time, I get more and more frustrated, right? And saying that they're going to turn it over to the league because the Packers were on the long snapper. Listen, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, a penalty could have been called. It was not. And a lot of Bears fans, to their credit, pointed that out as well right after that. But at the end of the day, right, when the Packers say, yeah, we expected them to run another play, we thought that they made it easier to block the field goal. Matt Eberflus, you, sir, are an idiot, right? You're a stupid idiot. Shout out to Chris Jericho. You're stupid. And this is the guy that is right now in charge of this franchise. So I'm sorry. I get people say, let's stop the cycle. Let's stop firing a coach after we get a rookie quarterback. Let's stop that cycle. No, let's stop the cycle of hiring dumbasses. Can we stop doing that? Can that be the cycle that we stop for once? Is stop the cycle of hiring coaches that are not going to help this team win football games long term. Can we stop that cycle? Can we go out and get the right coach? Whether that means spending money, whether it means going after a bit, whatever it means, doing casting a wide search, doing every bit of the research you can to make sure whatever it needs, get the right guy for once in the Chicago Bears history. Get the right guy. Get a coach in here who's actually going to help increase what this franchise and what these players do out on the field. Can we do that? I'm not worried about the cycle of firing people who aren't doing a good job. I'm worried about the cycle of us keep getting the wrong motherfucker. That's the part of the cycle I'm worried about. And that's the part of the cycle I hope the Chicago Bears stop at some point, because this is getting ridiculous. Poverty franchise. Hello, that's us. Hello, darkness, my old friend. But anyway, let's get into this one voicemail that we got into. This one's from Darius. Let's go ahead and play that now.
Oh, man. What's going on, yo? Darius from Dallas, man. Once again, we lose another game because of coaching. Point blank period. The offense and defense did what they wanted. They did what they needed to do. Thomas Brown, you are absolutely an upgrade over Shane Waldron because the team is actually believing in the plays that he's calling. I can just see the effort looks a lot better. I'm gonna get to the Eberflus thing in a minute, but I want to say, Braxton Jones, you are fucking trash. Gave up a big sack at the end of the game, once again to the bull rush. I don't understand why he can't just drop his fucking hips, square up with the guy, and hold him off. I mean, I'm tired of seeing Braxton Jones get bulldozed into Caleb's lap. I'm tired of that. He's got to fucking go, man. But anyway, man, Eberflus, with that last play call, man, we're sitting there 2nd and 8, bro. We're sitting there 2nd and 8, bro. We're on the 40, 2nd and 8. Why are we kicking a field goal in that situation like it's 4th and 3 or something? 2nd and 8, man. And then he goes in the press conference and he says, well, they were loading the box, so, we didn't want to run another play. Okay, well, then do a play action pass then. Do a play action pass. If they're loading the box, Eberflus, play action pass, let Caleb roll out. Let's see if we can get Cole Kmet down the field for a 10-yard gain. Or maybe we can even get a touchdown. He lacks balls. He lacks football IQ. And he's going to constantly make decisions like this, man. We have to get a head coach in here that knows how to make basic smart decisions in crunch time. And we lose a lot of these close games since Eberflus got in here because of his decision making at the end of the game. Look at last year, man. We had a lot of games where we barely, lost. And I don't think those losses that we, barely, came short, I don't think that was the team as much as it is Eberflus just not knowing how to make calls in crunch time. That's just all it is. He doesn't know what move to make when the pressure is on. And he shows it time and time and time and time again. Guys, we can't win with a coach like this. You want a coach that you win because of, not in spite of. We shouldn't have to be overcoming the defensive coverages, the defensive coordinator, and Eberflus every game. It's like we got to get so big of a lead to where Eberflus can't fuck it up if we want to win. So I don't know, man. I don't know how much more evidence McCaskey needs in order to go ahead and let this guy go. But if they bring him back next year, and we have.
You're absolutely, everything you said is on point. We lost another game because of coaching. And that's just going to keep being the incompetence that we have here. Matt Eberflus is not a good head coach. That's going to be something that I say a lot here over the ending part of the season. He is not a good head coach. He just isn't. It's just period, point blank. Now, I agree with you that Thomas Brown is a clear upgrade over Shane Waldron. I don't really think that you can make any, like, as far as one game sample size, right? So off the information that we have so far. Now, I mean, again, like I said in the first segment, this is still the Chicago Bears. Things could go very left quickly, right? And then we could be looking and say, hey, it's the same shit. But I think right now, over the one game sample size, you saw more intentionality. You saw the focus of this team, and Thomas Brown understanding the shortcomings of his offensive line and helping not put the Bears in a position to for that offensive line to hurt you too much. It still hurts you, right? You mentioned Braxton Jones giving up a sack on a bull rush, but let's also talk about the big block that he made that sprung DeAndre Swift for a touchdown run. He's the reason why that play was able to go as far as that it was. So, I mean, it's always going to be a mixed bag with Braxton Jones. And this is why I say that, if the offensive line overall improves, I can see Braxton staying a starter. I think Braxton will be a perfect depth piece for this team for sure. I definitely think that. And so it's not that Braxton Jones is a completely horrible player. He's not. It's just that he hasn't really progressed since he came in the league, and his shortcomings are loud, especially when he's your starter and you have to rely on him day in and day out. If Braxton Jones was a depth piece, I think we'd actually appreciate him a lot more personally. I'm not saying that he absolutely needs to stay around and be a depth piece either. I'm just saying that that's kind of my perspective on it. But again, as always, great voicemail, Darius, and we appreciate you for leaving that. That's the time for today. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.